afternoon. That certainly got everybody's energy levels up, didn't it? After a spot of lunch with the old carbs kicking in. So Gemma Beddow, I'm Head of Customer Relations at Briggs Equipment. I've been with Briggs about 19 years next month. And I'm here today to talk to you about our journey so far with customer experience, in the hope that you will take away some actionable feedback that you can implement in your business tomorrow. Clicker working? Yep. So just briefly, who are Briggs Equipment? Well, we're a national materials handling service provider. By that I mean we are service providers with equipment, with a wide range of products. And by that I mean from supplying forklift trucks right through to tractors. We're pretty much in every industry sector across the UK. Last year we reported a turnover of over £300 million, got over 10,000 customers across around 72,000 sites. And ultimately, how we help our customers is by providing the right solution, the right product, to ultimately make them more efficient, save them time, save them money. It will build long-lasting relationships with us and our customers. We're a business that follow 5 core values, 2 which really stand out. Safety first. We all live in a world today where it's dangerous. You want your employees, our customers, all to go home safely. And likewise, being easy to work with, building trust. Touched on it a lot in all the other presentations today. It's so important. That's what means a lot to our customers. And if we can be easier to work with, then ultimately retention is key for us as a business. So I'm going to talk you through our challenge. And I think a lot of the aspects on this slide, I'll take you back to pre-2015. Within Briggs Equipment, there was no real system. There's no way of us getting feedback from our customers. We were pretty much in the dark. We didn't know what we were doing well. We didn't know areas to improve. And likewise, we didn't know what to keep doing, what was bringing satisfaction to our customers. And we'd get feedback in through emails or phone calls, mixed messages. There was no way of us tracking how quickly we replied to customers. Accountability and ownership, these words have been used frequently through today, and it's true. We often get people within departments blaming others. A great example in our business is sales will blame service, service blames sales, everybody starts pointing fingers, and ultimately it's the customer, isn't it, that is not getting that result. They're the ones that are feeling that pain. And we get silos within the business then. Everybody's looking at just their objectives and not looking at the customer as a whole and the bigger picture across the business. So I'll talk you through how we met these challenges. Initially, we implemented Customer Gauge. We wanted to get feedback in. We wanted a way of getting that updates from our customers and what we were going to do with that feedback. Initially, it was launched, great. We all have initiatives, don't we, within our business. They all start off, everybody's excited, and then something else bigger comes along and takes over that. And we found this with some individuals. We didn't have the commitment there. There was lack of responses from customers, and when they did give us that feedback, we didn't act upon it quickly enough. When we started, we were roughly around 6% response rate, which wasn't great. And then when we did get that information, we didn't share it very effectively with our key stakeholders within Briggs. So Q4 2020, a lot of self-reflection during COVID, the pandemic. We realised as a business we weren't putting the customer at the heart of what we did anymore. So there was 4 initiatives that were launched. Customer Experience Specialist, a virtual role. We embraced a lot of the changes through working from home and created a virtual role. I'm going to touch on that on the next slide in a bit more detail. We also started to feed back customers information, what they were telling us with our key stakeholders internally, sharing those comments, making people within our business feel a part of that feedback that was coming in. We also started to provide that feedback back out to customers. I mean, how many times have you filled in a survey and somebody has come back to you say, "Thanks, Dave. On the back of that, we have now done A, B, C." Very rarely happens. And we also linked our survey responses to our Charity of the Year. So for every survey that is completed, we donate £5 to our Charity of the Year. When we launched this initiative in 2021, just over £6,500 was donated to Prostate Cancer UK. This year, we're bordering on £10,000 for Young Lives versus Cancer. Now that's great, but the real win here is when customers respond back after they've completed their feedback and have said, "Do you know what? Thanks, because that charity is something that is really close to me, and not only have I been able to provide feedback, but you've supported a charity that's helped me and my family." So it makes our customers feel good, and it's also great for brand reputation. At Briggs, we're all about supporting local communities and local charities. So much so I've signed up for an abseil on Sunday, and I hate heights. So, yeah, you might see some posts on that. But of those 4 initiatives, 2 really stand out, which have made the difference, I believe, on our journey so far. The customer experience specialists, and also telling customers what we're doing about the feedback they are providing to us. So, the standout initiatives. You've probably seen them here today. The customer experience specialists have come out for the day. They've been networking, been scribbling down notes from everybody else's presentations all day. They are the hub of our customer experience. They are resilient, they are passionate, they really do drive that customer experience message within our business. They are the hub of activity, and they will reach out and facilitate whatever feedback comes in to all of our departments. So without that team, it really does, that they have made a massive difference. And a little extract of what do we do when we tell our customers. So every quarter, we collate the feedback that they provide to us, and we tell them, this is what we're doing well, and these are the areas that we need to improve, and this is what we're going to do with it. We give them some high-level numbers in there, and we also tell them that the charity, how well that is performing with the donations to our Young Lives versus Cancer. But again, the money shot with doing this is when customers, the non-responders, because we send this out to our responders and the non-responders, when a non-responder comes back to a member of your team and says, "Wow, I thought you just did surveys just because it was a tick box. Everybody has to do surveys these days. I didn't know you did anything with that data. Next time I get one, I'm going to complete it." That was a real moment for us as a team. Fantastic. So I'm going to talk you through, well, how do we get faster customer resolution to our problems? A couple of initiatives here. We scheduled weekly meetings with Customer Gauge. When we started this journey, end of 2020, bearing in mind the platform had been in our business since 2015, it wasn't being used to its full potential. It was just something that got passed around. We had complaints that may have been logged on the back of MPS, and they get closed because they got old and nobody really did anything with it. So we really got to understand the software, the widgets, how to report. We refreshed the letter, changed the survey, really got engaged with our customers. Even when we reached out with a survey, we told our customers, "Hey, look, we've invested. We want to know your feedback. We haven't made cuts in this area." We understood that without customers, we have no future. They are what generates and keeps the numbers coming in. And we also, within the business, created a definition of what is a customer concern. So what does a complaint look like? And how can we improve on that? And we started to communicate that within our business. Initial results. So the NPS score increased by 15 compared to 2020. Again, like previous presentations, the score, it's great that it goes up, but the real big bonus is seeing the response rate increase by 17%. And that's because of the initiatives, that's because of the meetings with Liam. It's a shame he's not here today, but that support of, we changed the domain name. We put in Briggs, we linked Briggs and Customer Gauge together, because how many surveys possibly go into a spam folder? So connect it to your business, it made a difference. We also linked using Liam's support through to job sheets. So when an engineer completes a repair, we put a link that enables that customer to fill in an NPS survey from that point as well. Close the loop. Touched on that a lot today in other presentations. The team, we've done a fantastic job with that. So much so we're award winners back in April. I'm very proud to pick up that award too, because the impact on the customers when we do close the loop at speed is phenomenal. Only 3 weeks ago, there was something that stood out. Laura in my team, she had some detractor comments in. He ticked the box to have some feedback. 20 minutes, Laura had contacted, and the customer was like, wow. A, I didn't think I'd get a call back, and B, I certainly didn't think it would be in 20 minutes of me giving that feedback. So the impact that that has on your customers, building that trust and that dedication goes so far. Accountability and ownership, a big one. Initial actions, we created an NPS score by departments, and also increased and started to do employee engagement. So what I mean by NPS score by department, well, within Briggs Equipment, our customers are categorised into regional key accounts and a national account. So you could have a national account, 200 machines over here, and you could have 2 machines, which are classed as a small regional customer. We started to categorise NPS per that department. And what that meant was, as a sales executive or an account manager, you could relate to that score, you felt part of that score. It's all right having your global NPS score up here, but to really engage with your departments and with your teams, you want them to feel personal. That's one of my customers in that number. How can we increase that? Or I need to bring that up at my next review meeting. Employee recognition is a great one. Really engaging with your employees. We started to send them a thank you letter where a customer had written on the back of a response to a survey, if they'd name dropped them personally, they always answer the phone quickly, or this engineer is a knight in shining armour, he comes out, fixes my truck, keeps my business moving. We write to them, we drop them a little postcard, and we also put this feedback. We have an electronic appraisal system. We record it, so when they're sat there having their one-to-ones or their appraisals, it's recognised. It's not just on an email that just gets filed. It's on their record, which is really important as well. So initially, we started to see forecasting through doing this. Our sales executives could use the NPS scores, the feedback, look at the trend. Have they scored us a 6 frequently? Are we at risk of losing them? Likewise, if they are promoters, are we engaging with them? Are we telling our customers, this is what we're doing great, we need to keep doing this? And we can forecast then, looking through when contracts are coming up, what are the chances of us winning, retaining that, or are we at risk and we're going to lose that? So we started to get more buy-in because of recognising employees and the sales forecasting, and also linking it to root cause. It's important that we do something with the feedback. It's not just there to share nice reports. And we link it to our continuous improvement department as well within Briggs. Look at changing processes, increased training. Is it a particular person? Is it a particular area? How often are we seeing this impact across our business? And also, just briefly on that as well, our Inspire Awards. So similar to Justin's presentation this morning, we have now linked it to nominated employees with a monetary value. They can win vouchers. But again, I think it's important to recognise your employees. So, the biggest one, blame culture and silos. You're all familiar with this. So, initial actions. To start with, and this is ongoing, we're not out of the woods yet, but a massive difference in getting the buy-in. We're one team, we're one business. And when you get each other blaming other departments, it means nothing. We have to be one business. If sales results are up here, but service is down here, guess what? We lose. We have to go at it as a win-win. So we started to deliver small presentations to small groups across the business. Not just, oh, I'm not customer facing, I don't speak to them, it doesn't matter to me. Those are the kind of messages we need to eradicate. Every transaction in our business, your business, there is a customer at the end of that, and it's important that we drive that message. Communicating customer experience as well through podcasts. At Briggs Equipment, I think they're sick of my voice. I've done a few of them, but it's all about driving home that message. Internal bulletins, we have a regular feature in our internal chatter magazine. We have 2 dedicated pages every quarter, driving home the real live customer feedback, comments from MPS, what our score is, where we need to improve, constantly driving that message. The mistake we made back in 2015 is we started off with good intentions, but then it phased out. You have to keep driving it. The system just won't do it itself. You have to fully engage with it. And we also did a 60-second, very short video of what is customer experience to try and engage with all our key stakeholders. Put yourselves in the customer's shoes. Put yourself, what are they thinking? What are they feeling? And we do a great analogy of this. If you think your forklift truck potentially is off the road for a week, that's a big impact, isn't it, to that business? But that would be like me coming up to you, Adam, let me have your car keys for a week. See you later. Are you going to get home? Are you going to, well, saying bad example here with all the bikes, isn't it? But it's the same impact. It's about putting yourself in the customer's shoes, doing the right thing. So initially, we started to see a change in behaviour because we were driving home that message. Like I say, we're still on a journey, we're not quite there, but the attitude and behaviour is improving. Additional revenue opportunities is great as well. Another success story that comes through working with the departments and breaking down the silos. We had a customer who'd provided feedback on MPS, Detractor, wasn't happy, machine had failed, we thought we'd fixed it. We even got our technical specialist team in, still hadn't fixed it, modification didn't work. That team facilitated that through, keeping the customer up to date. We got it fixed, bulletin on all the other machines that had the same problem, went back to the customer only when we were completely satisfied that corrective actions had been sought and root cause, that we closed that concern, and the customer was blown away. It went from an unhappy place to, do you want a quote for 5 additional items in my new warehouse? It's like, fantastic. So that's the power of going back quickly with a response to your customers. And also, we started to see sales and service in one room. Who knew that would happen? But yeah, they wanted to agree and improve end-to-end processes, not, well, that's my job, and if you don't do that, this fails. Work together, be one business. So much so that recently I've had a meeting with our salmons enterprise owners in the States. They've come over, I presented to them 3 weeks ago. They want to know what we're doing to improve their score, which is fantastic. So, final slide. Really proud of our engagement journey. Massive. And it's the journey so far. We still have a long way to go. We're above the plan where we wanted to this year. I wanted to finish around 20% on response rate, and we are exceeding that, and hopefully that will continue. And last year as well, just to link this to retention and earned growth, we did see a 2% increase in retention, which that's what this is all about. It's about engaging with your customers, keeping them updated, building that trust, being easy to work with, and getting your repeat business. That's me. Any questions?
The rest of the customer success team, watching you guys go through that kind of journey and helping and partnering with you guys, that's really why we come to work in the morning, and seeing the success that you've had is really inspiring to see. So thank you for sharing. Any questions anywhere? Camilla, are you going to shout or do you want a microphone?
I'm too emotional, sorry. I just love this story so much. Gemma, I just think that you touched upon all the things I think that get everybody in this room excited, right? The culture, the doing the right thing, and then the fact that you can tie it to that ROI. You know, you're fine, you're good, and you're going to keep improving. But how did you get from that kind of like wobbly beginning? How did you get your C-suite buy-in? How did you get the power to still believe that you could get it right after a couple of years of muddling on?
I think really within Briggs Equipment that the change happened during COVID. I think there was a lot of self-reflection through our executive team, the board. You really can get closer to, through that period, we got closer to our customers. I think because we kept operating, we didn't close down, we went to skeleton staff, but you got closer to a lot of the feedback that was coming in. And I think our board realised, as a result of that, we need to invest in this area. Retention is key. It was a scary time, wasn't it, for all of us? And it's important that we look after the customers that we've got, because let's face it, it's harder to go and find new ones. So what do we do differently to keep hold of the customers that we've got? And they decided to, you know, invest in that role. We embraced a lot of the changes through furlough. And the team, the dedication, the virtual support, it works to drive that NPS, to get that dedication there, rather than it just being filtered through. And previously, an NPS feedback, it may have got too old, or it may have been passed to a person to make that call, but they could have been waiting weeks, months, and then it may have been, let's just close it because it's got old. But then that's not the right thing to do. It's about going back to your customers, building that trust, making them engage with us as a business.
Thank you. I just appreciate, so 100% closing the loop in 24 hours, or at least, you know, within a really, really fast time. 20 minutes, I heard you say, but, you know, that might not be what you reach every time. If anybody's got any doubts about whether it's possible, please do not come to me or to Dave. Speak to the team at Briggs, because they do it, and they do it every day. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Got a question here?
Could you share more about how, like, the customer base? So you mentioned that your response rates over 2 years increased by 15%. And that's what all the companies talk about, that this is what a change in, you know, response rate we have witnessed. But we never really talk about how many people did we reach out to. 10% out of 100 is 10. It's still Like the number is still less than 1% out of 1,000 people.
Yeah, we survey on average around 1,500 a month, and the same customer won't get the survey within a 4-month period, because there's nothing worse than just keep getting that survey. But we did a lot of data cleansing early on, and we've touched on data as well throughout today. We realised that, you know, in some cases early on, and this is why the response rate was probably so low, we were sending surveys to customers who closed, or the email address was wrong. Just the data really within your systems has got to be, it's key. It's key to reaching out to the right people. And I think that's why our response rate has increased, because we've done a lot of cleansing and we've reached out to the right people, which has made a difference. And I think having the dedication and the resource there to do it, it becomes a priority, not something that just falls down the task list on a day-to-day basis.
Hi, thanks for telling the story in such a genuine way, by the way. It was great to listen to. Oh.
Sorry.
Just a quick question, really. How did your parent group in the US get to kind of get connected to the program? Was it at C-level, or was it from a kind of reporting point of view that they suddenly noticed, or how was that connection made to the guys in the US?
Yeah, so they use MPS currently, but our exec team went out to do a quarterly review recently, and MPS was on the agenda, and obviously they shared their results, and then our CEO shared ours, and they were like, wow, we need to set up some time with Gemma to find out what is she doing different to us, and we jumped on a Teams call recently, and literally basically presented a lot of the key initiatives I've shared with you today, and they were scribbling like mad. Took them away, and we're going to set up another review. So to reach out to the States and get that feedback, but also we can share those initiatives and those actions that they can implement in their business is fantastic.
I guess it made it really real for your CEO as well. He was sitting in the boardroom or wherever he was, and he could talk about what you'd actually achieved. So that must have won you a lot of support from him or her as well.
Yeah, definitely. Proud moment. And when they visited recently, they're blown away, and they've taken down a lot of initiatives, and ones that I'm really excited about. I really want to, the future really, I want to deliver some tough customer experience training to everybody. I think it should be the number one when you go into any business as part of onboarding, and continually as well. Not just, oh, you've been trained on this, that's it, forget it. It should be continual. It's like when you go to the gym, you don't just go once and you're in shape, you keep going. And I believe training should be exactly the same in that sense.
But it does hurt though, every time you go to the gym. Yeah.
Customer experience training won't be that painful.
Yeah, thanks very much.
That's okay.
No. Is it? Okay. Did you actually change the survey at all to increase your response rates? Did you change the question or the format or the process you used?
Yeah, so we changed, because 2015, it was really outdated, and I've seen it on another slide earlier about templates. They're great, but you've got to keep them refreshed, because let's face it, the world has changed drastically, hasn't it, since 2015. So I think we changed the colour coding on the score. That was a big change. So, you know, highlighting that, you know, your 9s and your 10s, your green area, it's great, it's positive. And we also changed the letter format. And I think it's important that you keep that refreshed as well. Don't just do it once, you know, set reminders to keep it updated, keep it fresh, because your customers will recognise that. It's remaining engaged, not just something that becomes out of date.
That it for questions? No one else? Oh, one more there. Not as skinny as I'd like to be.
I thought you were going to army roll over that table then.
Thank you. To start with, really inspiring to listen to. Thank you for that. One aspect I didn't quite catch is, I think this is a struggle many of us have. Once you start getting these scores and you're seeing these detractors, as you described yourself, this blame game starts. And practically, how did you guys manage that? Like, how did you manage? I saw the results, but what practically did you do to get the people together?
I think the getting people together is just about organisation within, working with the team leaders and managers across the business, you know, explaining to them the importance of it. Without customers, we have no jobs. They're what drive everybody within the business. And detractors, to me, when I speak about it, and my team do, with whether they're speaking to sales, our credit control, our contracts, our legal team, everybody plays a part. They're an opportunity, aren't they? I would rather have 100 detractors than no response, because if a customer is still complaining or they're giving you the feedback, you've got a chance, haven't you, to put it right. It shows they still care. Whereas silence, that's the worry. Have they already left you? Are they planning on? Have they gone? And we're going to find out through the grapevine, as Adam mentioned earlier. You just don't know. And likewise, passives. You know, you would rather be really happy or really angry. What's a passive thinking? Where are they going next? Have they already started looking? So it's about selling it to your key stakeholders. Every concern is an opportunity to improve and do the right thing for your customers.
Gemma, thank you very, very much. Another round of applause for Gemma, please.
Thank you. Cheers.